I just opened up this hole a bit more and laid down a coat of paint. So now, to protect that elbow, that silicone elbow, from the sharpness of this metal edge, I'm going to line this with some silicone hose. And I had done this previously with some silicone I had on hand, but I had to make the hole a little bit larger, so I failed to record that. So this time I'm going to show you how I did it. So I've got some of this 3mm vacuum tube, and what's going to happen is I'm going to slice down one side of it. That way it can slip over the perimeter. But first I just need to get an idea of how much of this I need. And I give myself a little bit of slack. Now I'll go over to the bench and show you how I cut it. So I've just got a normal utility blade with a pretty fresh blade on there. And I'm extending that to the first click. So you can see it'll just cut one side of it. I'm actually going to put this in the vise. Like that. And that gives me the ability to that gives me the ability to cut this with both hands focusing on the tube, not trying to hold one on here, or hold the tube and then cut it from the top and not cut the stuff. At the end of the day, this is way more effective, short of having like an actual like jig where you can just pull it through and not have the blade exposed. So if you do this, be just absolutely careful, because if you pull this a little too tight one direction, you could easily pull the silicone right through that blade and then cut yourself. So I'm just going to start here. And I'm going to feed it pretty consistently, not super fast. I'm trying to keep the silicone hose from twisting. That'll help improve how it lays down onto the sheet metal lip. When you get close to the end here, you gotta be real careful, because it will cut you real easy. It looks like I got a little sloppy there at the end. So now, before I hurt myself, I'll put that away. Now I've got this split hose, and it's fairly straight all the way down. Back to the truck. Alright, back here, I'm going to start with this side. I'm going to put the opening, or the split, on the bottom. Now around these like contours, it's never going to sit perfect, but it'll be, in my opinion, it's damn good for government work. So now that opening is totally protected. Hell yeah, brother. Major progress on the intercooler pipes. They are done. So I don't remember exactly how much I went over all the little parts, but it's baby's first aluminum welding project. So I got the AIT bung installed. This pipe, which this one right here, which comes up and then goes up. That one has a welded joint. And then this one has welded a joint there, another one there, and they came out pretty decent. I'm definitely seeing some improvement after messing with that with my welding skill. This, I came back in on the sheet metal here, and I cut the corner right here to the left, and then bent the top, or this upper portion of what I cut in. So this, you can actually see the backside of it here. It used to be like flat, and then the floor of it, I bent that up and then tack welded it to give this some strength back, because this all supports this little bracket that supports the bottom of the front fender. So that gave this pipe way more clearance to come through here. And now I'm thinking I'm going to support it from the frame. I haven't really figured out exactly how I want to do it. So for now, I'm just going to do zip ties. It'll probably stay like with zip ties holding this pipe up like this for a while. But, you know, you don't have to get everything done in the first 10 minutes of working on something. Although it's been way more than 10. Anyway. I think that's pretty much it. The rest of it just was, you know, hasn't changed as far as configure out. Oh, I did get this trimmed out in here. So coming out from the top, you can see it's got that trimmed out. So it doesn't really affect the pipe as it sits now. But when I order a new 30-degree fitting right here, I cut this one probably like 3/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch short. So once I get this new one, it's going to push this pipe out a little bit farther, so it's a bit more vertical. And when it does that, this pipe's going to want to move to the front of the truck a bit, and then that's when it's going to become an issue. So I'm just doing a little future planning there to help myself out with that. Yeah, also, downpipe. I got the O2 sensor bung welded, and first 2 coats of paint on it, ready to put the wrap on. I do still need to put the V-band for the rest of the exhaust, but I'm not going to do that until I build the rest of the exhaust. But I'm going to wrap it to about there, so that can be done and not affect the remaining part of the exhaust system. So what's up next is to test fit the headlight core support to trim it for these bumps that are coming through here, because it bolts down here. So with this pipe being lower now, I don't know if it affected, but if I put it up here where I want it, I'm pretty sure it's gonna conflict with some of that corner right there. But I'm gonna mock that up and get the trim in, then I'll show you what's left of it. Pleasantly surprised. So I won't have to trim anything, at least on the headlight core support. Even when I bring this pipe up, like right there, it's hitting in the back corner. But I mean, right in there is where I was gonna suspend it anyway. So I'm super stoked. That all clears. Right there, that all clears. The only thing I'll have to do is trim this little valance, because it hits that coupler. And not quite as much, but a little bit of trimming on that valance as well. And this is ready. Now this fender is pushed in here. I haven't tried to bend this back out. I don't even know if I'll be able to. So this is actually cracked, which really sucks. But I think it would be fine if I got a new fender. So I don't think that's going to affect how that fits on this side too much, if it at all. And then on the left side, I really don't think it would have any effect, but hell yeah, brother. All right, this pipe I just pulled out because I forgot about a blow-off valve. I have, here it is, a Turbo Smart RFL, really fucking loud. I bought this when I bought the wastegate, and I've used this on a few setups so far over the years. A blower on my Supra and a Turbo 7M. So I got like halfway done, and then I ran out of gas. So I gotta wait till Monday, and it's Saturday. Sucks. But that location puts the blow-off valve right underneath the compressor housing. So I'm gonna get that nice like sound reflection as it hits and pushes all that sound down with all, well, you know, pushing the air down, and the sound is gonna come out, splash on the ground, and then echo. So it's gonna be awesome. One other thing I just wrapped up, the vacuum block. So this is the factory vacuum reservoir. I'm going to end up mounting it to the sidewall right here. The vacuum block here, I just drilled 2 holes in the plastic pinch, the 2 pieces that came together, and used the hardware that came with it. Worked out perfect. I ended up buying these because I didn't want it came with straight fittings, and I didn't want to put straight up. It just would look bad, and it wouldn't be very compact. So I bought some 90 brass 90s barbs. I've got this one, which goes to a little check valve, and it, oddly enough, Ford makes it, and that will keep the HVAC and the dash stuff under vacuum at all times. So when I'm in boost, I don't have to worry about blowing this up or blowing one of these lines off. The only point of failure is there and there. The next port I have runs across the engine. It goes to the fuel pressure regulator because that's a rising rate. And then the third port here drops down to the wastegate. So that's the boost reference for that. And if I need any additional ports, I'm gonna have to go either put a little nipple, and then have the 90 farther up, do like a street fitting 90 with a barb and a female thread. But I don't think I'm gonna need anything else, any other vacuum sources. And then the inlet to this, I've got right here, which is 8mm hose. I had already roughed in a hose off the back of the intake manifold, one of those ports that I saved. So I've just got this here with a stainless steel union, so that in the event I do need to pull anything apart, I'll just separate it here, and it'll be real easy to take it apart. I don't have to try to fish the other end off there, and I don't have to mess with the whole vacuum block here. It'll just be right there. And that was partially because of convenience, because that hose wasn't long enough to go to that. And also, I'm not really stuck up about having a single hose there. It's not a big deal to me. And I also got the downpipe wrapped. And that wraps right down into there and just past the frame. So the starter's right there, so I wanted to make sure I got some heat protection for it. Not that this does a whole lot, but it makes me feel better. And that's just chilling in there. But I guess I'm at a standstill for the time being until I get more gas, so I can wrap up that intake that intake pipe. I gotta check my to-do list. Order a few last little things for the engine bay, and then I think it's like ready for a test drive. So I finally got some gas and finished up the welding here. This one was giving me some trouble, obviously. Also, I'm still learning, but I'm definitely happy with my progress.